Good afternoon, everyone. It's Michelle Hill from Southern Inspirations, and it is Fruitful Friday. Happy Fruitful Friday, everyone. And I'm here with my special guest, Craig Bain. Did I say that right, Craig? You know, it's been a few years since I had to say your last name in public like that. I think
Yes.
Bain. Okay, good. I practiced a couple of times to make sure I got it right. So welcome everyone to Fruitful Friday. Today, Craig and I are going to be giving you some helpful tips when it comes to using video, when it comes to operating in this virtual society that we are all in right now. And with that said, if this video has some issues, please understand, and as you already know, there's such a high volume of traffic right now across the internet using these various platforms. So just bear with us. We are going to push forward regardless, and just trust and pray that the broadcast is doing well. So thank you, Craig, for joining. I appreciate your time and your willingness to have this discussion and offer some of your expertise.
Yeah, I'm excited, and I really enjoyed you reaching out to me. It's funny how I consult a lot of small business owners and stuff like that, and right now we're seeing such a huge influx of people being like, okay, now I need to jump on this bandwagon and get in. And so one of the things, we've had a lot of shoots canceled, but one of the things, the silver lining is people are taking advantage of this, and if nothing else, at least I get to help educate people about how to do it properly.
Right, absolutely. So y'all, I did mention that Craig is the founder and creative director for AdSpire, and where he's going to share a little bit more about that toward the end of our video to let you know all the services he offers. But essentially, he is a video producer. He is an expert in marketing analytics and in diving into the data that makes all the difference in your marketing campaigns, and has just a very unique creative style that lends itself toward all sorts of different content for different types of businesses. And so, Craig, again, I'm just very excited to have you here. I'm going to take just a second, y'all, and check my phone just to make sure that we're good. All right, we're on there. That's actually one of the little tips that we'll talk about. Those little checks and balances, right, Craig?
Well, yeah, absolutely.
All right, so we're going to dive right in. And the first thing that we're going to talk about is the environment. And y'all, as you'll notice, I'm in my home office, and there's a picture behind me that's always behind me when I do or I say always, if this is the type content if I'm interviewing someone, not out there chalk painting the nightstand, which, by the way, I'll be doing that later this afternoon and be in the garage. And then Craig, is that your part of your home office, or in your home, you've got things on the wall back there?
This is my little office, home office. Yeah.
Your little office. I love it. I love what you got going on the wall back there. So the point of it is to be prepared ahead of time in what your environment looks like. And Craig is going to speak specifically to things like noise level and give us some technical input on what you can do to minimize those distractions. Certainly you need to think about things like dogs and kids and, natural surroundings. For me personally, my home office is on the front of my house. Directly across the street, there's new construction going on right now. Thankfully, at this very moment, I guess they took a late lunch today. And they're actually at the part where they're building the frame. So there's lots of knocking and hammer banging over there. So you just have to think about those things. Craig, what else can help from your perspective to set the best environment?
Yeah, absolutely. So one, depending on what type of virtual video you're doing, I think computers are great microphones. They do an excellent job of taking away some extra noise you don't want. However, think of where you're at. If you're in a living room or kitchen, It's a big space, so you're going to get a lot of reverb naturally, and it's going to be you're going to have a higher echo. If you have high ceilings, something over 9 feet in your home, you're also going to get some reverb. So think about maybe pushing yourself towards a wall, and that's going to help. If you're going to do a whole bunch of these, if you're coaching, if you're doing seminars, think about actually investing on Amazon. You can get some foam sheets. They're pretty cheap. You see them in all sound studios, but I would say get closer to a wall and just staple those or tape those onto your wall, and your audio is going to get a lot damper. Those are little tiny tips. The other ones that I would really recommend that I see some people starting out doing is they don't think about the noise they're used to. If they're in the kitchen, think about how close you are to your fridge, your ice maker. We all know noises that we're not used to, like the construction. Those do jump out at us. But if it's something that's in our house, you do have to take yourself out of it, be your audience, close your eyes for a second, and just listen. AC units. Sometimes I hear really noisy AC units. So it's just a matter of taking yourself out, pausing, doing those practice runs, closing your eyes, and also thinking how much is going to reverb, how much echo you'll get.
And Craig, I'm so glad you mentioned things like the dishwasher and other things that we're used to, because of course my home office is far enough away from the kitchen that I don't have to worry about that. But I personally had not thought about that much until you brought it up. And you're exactly right. We get used to those certain things in our home. And again, y'all, isn't perfect, but to the extent that we can minimize distractions, reduce those noise factors. And the other thing is, especially for those of y'all with kids at home, I think it's just so important to say, okay, during this time there to be no interruptions, or mom and dad need it to be quiet for the next 30 minutes, or whatever the case may be. Is go ahead and schedule that into the day and let folks know now's not the time to come telling me you need a snack or whatever the case may be, right?
and sometimes our children are four-legged, so they don't
That's
listen.
Right.
It might be appropriate to put them outside for that time, or
Right.
close off the store. I know I have to do that. I'm on a conference call usually in the mornings with a person. I do some day trading stuff and coaching him as he teaches people how to do day trading. And I was letting him know, I'm like, your dogs are gorgeous, they're great, but holy cow, like that is, it's just, they're very vocal. He has 2 huskies, and you're just constantly hearing, since he cut off his camera. I'm like, we don't necessarily know if that's you or the dog. I'm pretty sure it's the dog growing.
Yeah.
But you have to be aware of that. Dishwashers, like you said, dryers, things that we just get used to.
Right. And it could be real easy working from home, especially if it's an extended period of time, to not think about those things. So I think we're just going to have to be intentional about it. The other thing that I wanted to bring up real quick, and I talked about it when we first started, as far as our environment, just something else for you guys to think about. And that is, if you are trying to do something to get your company logo or your presence, your brand on the screen, you'll notice a couple of things. At the top right of this, it says powered by StreamYard. And we're going to talk about platforms a little bit later, but this is the free version of StreamYard, and it's working fine for me. It's meeting my needs, but of course their logo is up there. And so one thing you can do outside of, course, upgrading, where you could replace that with your own logo, is if you have signage to actually place in your video, you can do that. And I'm going to bring mine in because while it is an option, it's also something else to think about and how it looks. Craig, anything else on that as I'm getting my sign?
One quick note to go back on the noise real quick. If you are having a lot of reverb, a lot of echo, because maybe you're doing these from your living room in front of the mantle, so you just naturally have this high ceiling, you could consider like investing in something. Rode is one of the best brands I recommend. to somebody that's in between that professional level. It's a plug and play, whether you're plugging it in straight into your computer and aiming it at yourself, or they have little dongles that you can plug it straight into your iPhone. I highly recommend that if you still constantly are getting really bad audio. Obviously, there's stuff like bigger mics you can invest in, but honestly, I always tell people just start with the Rode. It's super simple. It's plug and go. It's perfect.
And what's it? I want to write it down, Craig. What are you calling that again?
It's the brand Rode mic.
Rode. Okay, I got it. Rode. Got it. Okay.
RODE, and they have tons of different ones
Gotcha.
that are just plug and play for us who just need to get a little bit better audio and don't want to actually get something like this. This is a Sennheiser microphone, way more expensive, a lot more complicated. You have to have a special, adapter for it.
Right.
Something we don't need. We just need these.
Yeah. Well, and like you mentioned at the beginning, most of the laptops and computers, the audio is fine. And even right now, I'm just sitting here in front of my laptop and it's fine. So I think it just all depends, again, on the environment and individual needs. So I brought my sign in, and a couple things that, yes, it's here. And yes, my logo is back there. The yellow tea glass, lemonade glass, it has become a part of the Southern Inspirations brand, but obviously I'm covering it up. Now, if I were doing this video by myself, I could position it to the side and me still be in the video and it be in full. So Craig and I were talking earlier, I don't necessarily think that there's a right or a wrong. My big thing is just being consistent. Because when I get up to go get some equipment that I'm going to show you guys here in a second, you will have full view of my sign. So it just depends on what do you want, what are you trying to convey, as long as it looks professional and not silly and it's not falling off your easel, stuff like that. Anything else on that, Craig, from that?
And I would say don't be afraid to we have a natural tendency to grow up and think we have to be perfectly centered. And it's a good rule of thumb. However, if you have something like a sign that you're trying to feature in, think that's balancing you. So it can push you a little further to the right and you put it on your left. So just think of the appropriate balance. So don't be afraid also to be opening up where one shoulder is placed.
Even like this. I mean,
absolutely.
I get out for just there's some things moving my laptop around a little bit, moving my chair. These are all sorts of things that you do, obviously, before you hit the go live button. And, like, okay, well, do I want to be back here, or up here? And again, I think a lot of it's personal preference and how are you trying to show up? It's just those things to think about. All right, good stuff on environment. Let's talk about equipment. You started talking a little bit about that, was showing us the mic, but I was sharing with you the other day when we were talking that I literally started out with a small tripod that holds my phone, period. Nothing else, no lighting, purpose. It held this just fine. And now I have a total of 4 tripods. They're all still small, but they serve the purpose in the different environments. So I'm going to show y'all some of those. But Craig, you truly are the expert on equipment. So and on this subject. So tell us, for those of us that are working from home and not the videographer and have years of experience, what are your best recommendations and practices?
Yeah, best recommendations and practices. One, I think, again, it's just like the Rode mic. When people go into it, they immediately think more expensive is better. Not necessarily. We're in such a great world where there's really affordable stuff that is probably more user-friendly and better for us to be starting with. Unless you're bringing in a professional studio person to be doing it for you, I
Right.
would be thinking about that. Look at reviews because there's so many brands that are coming in from Alibaba that you can find on Amazon. I would say, like you said, your equipment list is going to get bigger naturally. I wouldn't recommend to just start ordering a whole bunch of stuff and then realize it's not the equipment you needed or you
Right.
actually don't even recommend it. There's just too many brands out there. I would say start small. Always go into some lights. This is a great LED light. I have one actually on me right now because I'm a big believer on being lit appropriately. I always recommend looking around the $20 to $50 range on LED lights. Make sure they have dimmers. That's one of the important things. You don't want one that's just an on and off and all or nothing. You want it to be able to be dimmed down, and you can see the huge
Yep.
difference right there.
Oh, absolutely.
Because
Yeah.
it's going to be a big difference.
Yeah.
I highly recommend cheap tripods. I love tripods. I have a ton of them. Rarely do I need the big bulky ones, and you've probably found that out. They start,
Yep.
you start putting your lights on them, your cameras. You just find more and more uses for them. Your microphone. One of the ones I really like is I think I have actually two guys right here that I just love. These guys you can find all over the place, but they're just so universal because you get to clamp them around. And I can send some links to people if they're looking for the specific brand and model. But these, there's just so many brands now. This one was a higher end one. It's been used and abused quite a bit, but now there's just affordable ones. Another thing to think about, these tiny tripods are golden when you're using maybe your microphone. I could totally put this right in here and aim it at myself. I could put the light that I just showed y'all on it, but also what
So
you
are
really
they pretty universal, Craig? So you can, that's the female end of it is so that you can attach anything. And I actually just kind of learned that with the new one that upon your recommendation that I ordered to follow me around in the kitchen, it did not come with a stand. And so I had an aha moment yesterday and just removed the one from my ring light. And I'm like, oh, that looks like that'll fit.
And boom, yes. And that's the great thing about tripods and most video equipment is it's going to be this same size. So
Yes.
whether it's a microphone camera, it's pretty much going to fit with the same hole in the bottom.
Right.
I would look into also making sure it has a ball head.
Okay.
The ball head just helps you swivel around in different ways. But yeah, other than that, I wouldn't invest in these little tripods. Cost anywhere from $5 to $20. And honestly, the 5 are just as good as the 20. You're
Yeah,
pretty much
I'm gonna grab the one, my very first one. See if I can find it.
and look at that logo. See, you moved and it's perfect.
I know, and there it is. So this is the very first piece that I bought, and it pops out. You know, the legs pop out, and then it can extend. I think it extends. Yeah, that's it. Extends a little bit, which was all I needed in the beginning, and like I said, very mobile, very easy to travel with, and literally the phone was in there, and that's all I needed. Then I began to have issues with lighting, and so then I bought. This is the one that I actually removed the little footing from, and put on the one that you suggested. And I actually had an epiphany on this yesterday. It's funny how you have those like, oh gosh, I could do that. The lighting in this home office is not great, which is completely my fault. When we built this house, there were 2 rooms where I just goofed up on the ceiling fans and lighting that I picked. Everywhere else I did great, but this room and our guest bedroom, I just picked out bad stuff. And so the lighting is just, so I struggle every day. I have a lamp on my desk, but I need more lighting just for everyday work, not even for videos. And so yes, duh, point this baby down like this over my desk. So there's so much to do. And then this is my second to newest purchase, and I love this baby. This has the little LED light right here. It's got the microphone. Of course, it's adjustable too, and it was a little more costly, but that's okay. I'm gradually, getting. And this is what I've been using in the kitchen, because as I'm cooking, and I'm not right up on the screen, I'm a few feet away at the stove or the island or whatever. I need this as opposed to just this without anything. So then I graduated to that. And now that you suggested, and we've not figured this out yet. Brad is trying to get it calibrated and situated and all that. He had to take the mirror off the back of my phone. I had a mirror on here from stick, and he had to take that off. But we're learning, and I hope to use this one. I'm doing a cooking demo tomorrow afternoon, and I told him my goal was to get this one ready in time for that. So I may have him reach out to you. He was watching all sorts of videos yesterday to try to get it figured out.
Yeah, definitely. Feel free. I mean, once you do get it up, and just making sure that you're with the latest software on the app on your iPhone, and make sure that you're searching for the Bluetooth. You'll find that once you get it going, it connects really quickly.
Yeah. I'm excited. All right. What else? As far as like the platform, we talked about that a little bit. There's a ton of them out there. We already mentioned that I'm using StreamYard. I have used so far. I like StreamYard better. Zoom does have some capabilities. Their paid version will stream to social media. Craig, any others that come to mind? I don't think it matters. It's really what fits your needs, right?
It's what fits your needs, and I would say if you're starting out, definitely like you already did, do the free subscriptions and play around with them. Google offers the free one on Google Chrome, which is a great, excellent one, and it's free, and it doesn't put you to that. Well, under free, it only gives you 5 people you can connect with. So it just really depends. It also offers the screen share. Find what your needs are and make sure that service can offer it. I think the other thing we probably also do, we did environment. Be aware of your surroundings. I always recommend people to actually log on, put themselves where they want, and do a screenshot. It's very distracting. It's hard. We think we're doing like seeing everything, but it's a really simple thing just to do a screenshot and then open up the screenshot and just look, because that's what your viewers are going to see. They're going to be looking at anything that's could be distracting or that you don't want on the camera. It could be there. So I definitely recommend that. And then also think about your clothing. Solids generally are really good. Checkers are usually, again, a no. So you don't want to be doing checkers or plaids a lot of times, just because when you move, it's going to mess up the camera. The cameras have trouble focusing. So solid stripes are good. But again, I always recommend people just kind of think of what their environment is. If my wall is green, I shouldn't be wearing a green shirt either, right? So
yeah.
Those screenshots will help you kind of see all of that stuff. And if you're presenting yourself out to the world, you have to remember, like you mentioned earlier, is that your audience is going to remember this. This is going to be there not just for the 2 minutes that you're on or the 20 minutes that you're on. This is going to live on YouTube. So wherever you are and whatever your company, how big it grows, these are things that you want people to be able to look back on, and you want to have that credibility of, okay, you were doing it, so you weren't doing it all full.
Right, because it's out there, and you want to be authentic, of course. Excuse me,
Yeah.
scratching my foot. I'm bending forward to scratch my foot and little things like that. There's just so many things to be mindful of. And yes, be authentic, be your genuine self, but just a little more guarded in knowing that somebody out there is going to continue to watch this, and you never know who's going to see it and the impression that it's going to be making on that person. And it is a part of your brand and something that we constantly have to be thinking about. And that kind of leads us into the last subject before we talk about your company, because I want folks to know a little bit more about that. That's content. You know, at the end of the day, if you're getting on here on a video platform and discussing anything, think ahead of time. How is this relevant? Is it educational, informative, entertaining? Am I teaching something? Am I demonstrating something? Is it something that people want to watch? Right, Craig?
Right. Absolutely. And I think, you know, think of your avatar. That's what I always ask business owners. I'm like, put yourself in their shoes. And one of the games I always play is like, I'm like, you have to think of your next customer. For $100, you have to guess, you know, who that avatar is, their demographic, their age, are they married, they're single. Really create that, because what they're wanting and what they want to hear may be completely different than what I personally want. And I'm not saying, you know, take away from your message, but make sure that you're thinking about that person you're really trying to connect with. You're not pushing away other people, but you really want to home in on your connection. You really want to home in on your environment. Make sure that, you know, my avatar, John, you know, is really connecting and getting important information that I'm feeding him. I think that's really key for small business owners. And with that, don't overthink it. I know you and me, Michelle, you know, we come from a long line of videos and commercials and marketing. It's our second nature, but I also tell small business owners, yes, this is going to live on social media. Yes, it's going to be there forever, but still don't let that keep you from doing. You know, I know it's kind of a double-edged sword how we're saying, make sure, be aware of this, but have a motto that good enough, because getting your content, getting your voice, getting yourself out there as a credible source, and whether you're a chef, whether you're a lawyer, whatever you're pushing out there to people, get out there and get out there now, because it's in the Wild Wild West and people are doing it. You want to be grabbing that territory right now.
Right. Absolutely. Wonderful advice. Anything else you want to share before we you have an opportunity to talk about the company? Anything else we haven't discussed or shared?
You know, that's the main thing I would offer, is saying, keep that motto in, is good enough, because we're at a time where this has catapulted us into something that I think was probably coming in the next 3 or 4 years. And now we got forced to everybody go, oh shoot, I have a brick and mortar store and I have to close it down. I literally was consulting one of my clients he has a running store. This guy's younger than me, and when I realized his brick and mortar was his only income and he didn't have an online store, I was like blown away.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, online store, let's get it up, let's get it going, and you know, don't overthink it. We need to actually get it going. You know, and that's what I would say. Just really keep that in. Is like your equipment's going to evolve. Your equipment list is going to evolve. You know, don't overthink it when you're starting out. Be forgiving on yourself, your mistakes. One, you can make your mistakes, right? And two, you're going to learn from them. You really are, and your message is going to help also be evolved.
Yeah. Speaking of learning, I was sharing with you earlier and wanted to be sure and say on here, practice, practice, practice. Earlier today, a group of my girlfriends had a Zoom call just for fun. And one of the things we did was play around with virtual backgrounds. And I did a beach scene. And I did the, bridge in San Francisco and these different things, and had some fun with it. So don't be afraid to reach out to your friends and your family and set up a Zoom call, or get the free account on StreamYard like this or Google or whatever, and play around with it and get comfortable. I mean, because let's face it, not everyone has been on camera a whole lot. Not everyone has. This is new. There's some vulnerability here, and the way you sound and the way you look, and all of those things. And so don't be afraid to practice with it, right, Craig?
Absolutely. And like you said, that vulnerability should also be thought as something that you're creating a familiarity and a trust with your customer and your audience base. The more vulnerable you are creating that trust, and that's what you want, because trust builds loyalty. And when you have that loyalty, you're creating a lifelong customer, somebody that, whatever advice you're offering, they're going to be absorbing that a lot more than somebody scrolling the internet just looking for somebody. And that's what you really want to do. Find that happy medium.
That's right. That's right. Well, as we get ready to close, please do share, folks, a little bit more about your background and your experience and what you're doing now.
Yeah, sure. So, like you said, video is my forte, which kind of comes perfect when it comes to marketing. And so I was it's going to date me, but 20 plus years, I'll just say 20 plus years in video. So I with Blue Wave back in Little Rock, I was held on retainer by Comcast, and we were doing commercials for local businesses. I really found a love for the consulting of local businesses during that time, really seeing and helping them guide bang for their buck. That's where I branched off and actually started doing more marketing than just video. And then all of a sudden you have this social media world come out where everybody wants content, and the best thing to do is create long form content that lives on YouTube and start chopping it up so you can pollinate over into different social media channels. I would like to say, I was probably like on the verge of that prior to, it really becoming trendy, because I just saw all these people spending so much money on one 30-second commercial. And I'm like, what if we actually do this, and then we can cut it up in multiple pieces? And that's kind of what AdSpire really focuses on, is creating long form content that you can chop up and use in different avenues. So if it's going to be your who, what, why, when on YouTube, that will also say, let's place this on your homepage. That way people know everything about you immediately without having to read a ton of text. Also, that's going to live forever. We can chop all those up and just pop those out on LinkedIn, on Facebook, Pinterest, Instagram. And that's basically what AdSpire focuses on, is really diving in, helping you find what your best message is, and developing a social media campaign, not just here's your one video, good luck with it. But we also have those clients too. They already have their idea, and we'll be more than happy to come in and film that as well.
Thank you for sharing. I mean, you truly look at it, sounds like holistically, and what does that business need on all those platforms, and what is the story? What is the who, what, where? How that's you're helping them, businesses and organizations share their story.
Absolutely.
And how can folks give us your website? Can best get in touch with you if someone wants more information?
I'm sorry, say that again. You were breaking up.
Okay, your website, or how folks can get in touch with you if they'd like more information.
Yeah, absolutely. My website is adspirecg.com, and that's spelled ad, and then think of the word inspire. Instead of just inspire, it's adspirecg.com. You can personally email me at craig@adspirecg.com. I love helping business owners, love just basically offering information. I'm big on just paying it forward, and this is one of the times where I feel like in this environment that we're in, this is something that that's the least I can be doing, is helping people get in front. So absolutely, feel free to reach out to me if y'all have questions about equipment or what software to be using. What maybe y'all need some help with a campaign. Yeah, reach out to me.
Good deal. Well, Craig, thank you again. This has just been a great dynamic conversation. Appreciate your willingness to be my guest and to talk all things video.
I appreciate you inviting me. It's been a long time. When you reached out, I was just like, I was so happy. I was like, yes, I had.
I know. You never know. You never know when paths may cross again. And to think that we started at the same place at one point in time, and here we are doing our own things, and we're collaborating. And I just love it. I love stuff like this. So thank you so much.
Well turns. Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. Well, hey, everybody, thank you again for joining Fruitful Friday and for being a supporter of Southern Inspirations. Please continue to like, share, comment, help us get the word out. We are continuing to evolve and grow and refine and do those things to make the changes that we need to make to stay up to date and to offer the kind of content that is interesting and relevant to you. So I'm always open to your feedback as well. With that, I'll say happy Friday, and I'll see you soon. Live life, y'all. Bye.